Once again, a transparent keyboard has found its way onto my desk. This time it's the Phantom 81 V2 from Kiiboom. The keyboard retails at $159 and is available in 5 different colorways. The Phantom 81 V2 has a layout and general specification which is not hard to find at most price points in 2023, 75% with a knob, wireless, gasket mounted, south-facing Hotswappable. All of this can be bought at an extremely low price. However, I could tell as soon as I unboxed the Phantom 81 V2 that I was looking at a transparent keyboard that's a bit different to the others I've tested. While the others utilised relatively thin polycarbonate or ABS plastic for the case, this is made of extremely thick and crystal clear acrylic. Fully assembled and with the external weight, the keyboard weighs around 1440 grams, which is closer to a 75% aluminium keyboard than a 75% plastic keyboard. The quality of the case and the hefty weight in the hand really does make it feel high quality. As for the rest of the build, the switches are the Kiiboom crystal switches, a completely transparent linear switch with a polycarbonate housing, a nylon stem, a 55 gram actuation force and a 60 gram bottom out. The switches are factory lubed with a nice amount of lube on the stem rails and legs. There isn't any information on the keycaps, but obviously transparent again to continue the transparent theme, with black legends making them readable while the RGB is on, and they look like OEM profile to me. The keyboard comes with plate mount stabilizers, the factory lube looks good, the wires are lubed with what looks like dielectric grease, and the stems are lubed with an oily lube of some kind. Obviously, all the component and material selections have been made with RGB in mind, and it does not disappoint. It's got perky RGB with several effects and brightness adjustment, and RGB underglow. At night it looks awesome with everything on. For more subtle lighting you can turn the perky RGB off and leave the underglow on, or you can turn both off for daytime use if you want to enjoy the aesthetic of the keyboard without lighting. Now, while this is shaping up to be a great keyboard, nothing is perfect. I'll save the typing test to the end as this one doesn't need modding, but the battery placement is causing an issue with the sound which I'll show you when we take it apart. The keys over the battery sound significantly different to the rest of the keyboard. The other issue, which may be specific to this unit, is with the encoder. There is a lot of wobble in the encoder which is not so nice, and it's not a loose knob, the plate is in the encoder itself, which I'll show you later. Now let's get this one apart. 8 case screws are removed from underneath, allowing you to lift off the top case. The plate and PCB needs to be carefully tilted up as the battery wire is short, then you disconnect the battery wire and the daughterboard wire and lift out the plate and PCB. And that's as far as I'm going to disassemble this one, other than to remove some switches and keycaps to show you the plate and the dampening. The plate is polycarbonate with 5 stepped vertical flex cuts and 1 horizontal cut between the function and num rows. Looking at the back of the PCB, you can see there are no corresponding flex cuts, so I'm not sure there's much point in the flex cuts on the plate. The gaskets are a part of the plate dampening pad, which is silicone and does a nice job of preventing hollowness, and the silicone is not too firm for use in a gasket system. The switch sheet is also silicone to give that deeper and creamier sound profile. I must say, the entire plate and PCB assembly looks really nice quality, with the exception of the encoder knob. You can see the plate is not due to a loose knob, but it is in the encoder itself. Finally, let's look at the main feature for me on this one, this beautiful acrylic case, which looks like a perfectly formed and polished ice cube. I can see absolutely no issues on the case, perhaps except for them not being able to polish the inside of the screw holes, which is getting seriously nitpicky. The really nice external weight, with what looks like enamel paint for the black lettering, is a great touch on this keyboard, adding to the weight and breaking up the clear aesthetic, but I really think the battery placement and tray was a swing and a miss. The battery is housed in a silicone tray which is countersunk into the bottom case, but the difference in density between the acrylic case and the rubber tray is a problem, and this section of the keyboard sounds totally different to the rest of it. This may not be an issue for most, isn't something that will irritate you in everyday use, and it's obviously been done to keep the aesthetic as clean as possible, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, typing sound and feel is king for me, and this is a problem. Have a listen to the typing test and make up your own mind on this one. And there we have it, probably some of the best stock stabilizers I've ever tested, and a keyboard that runs for absolutely nothing, unless like me the change in sound above the battery is a problem for you. My advice on this would be to tape mod, as this should even out the sound across the entire keyboard. If transparent keyboards are your jam, this really is a nice pickup for the $159 price tag, and you definitely won't be disappointed. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.